Well, he hasn't left the state, and I'll remind you, it all happened here first, and we didn't wait till the inauguration. We saw during the transition a gentleman by the name of Bovino, who was in parts of Central Valley, beginning the process to exercise his unique approach to lawlessness. It's been litigated. He lost in an earlier court decision. It's been showcased now across the United States. But he did that during the transition. We saw what happened here in San Diego. The first raids on a restaurant where you saw a lot of crowd control and suppression techniques. It was a Friday night. Restaurants that were raided here in LA. Of course, we saw the federalization of the National Guard, hundreds of millions of dollars wasted of taxpayer, hundreds of millions of dollars wasted of taxpayer money. We saw 700 active duty Marines that were not sent overseas, were sent to the second largest city in the United States, Los Angeles. We saw thousands of National Guard men and women, by the way, who are police officers in their own right, firefighters, nurses, doctors, caregivers, that were sent to the armory. They had no particular purpose. They were there for purely political purposes. And we saw them paraded around. We saw Bovino move to other states. We said at the time that was a preview of things to come. I'll remind you, we were down at the Democracy Center in Little Tokyo. We were announcing the kickoff of a campaign that ultimately became Proposition 50. There was a guy in a mask along with others. Greg Bovino was out there trying to intimidate people from walking in. We said that was a preview of things to come as well. And so he's sent back to California. We're hardly celebrating that. This is a guy who literally goes on eBay and tries to find 1930s outfits. And he's exposed himself even to Donald Trump, who basically fired him. They had to send him back home because of his abuse and the lawlessness that he perpetuated and the gross incompetence to which he was doing his job. I'm shocked he still has his job, though I'm also shocked Kristi Noem still has her job, though she seems to have been pushed aside as well. Tom Homan, ironically now the adult in the room, has been sent to Minneapolis. But no, to your question, and forgive the long-windedness, I just wanted to contextualize it and remind people of where we've been here in California, because this is the origin story of Trump 2.0. They're still out there actively. They're still out there actively terrorizing diverse communities. And I don't use that word lightly. I just left the border. I just left a community meeting. I just left meeting people representing all our diverse communities, many diverse communities in the state of California, giving me chapter and verse about how ICE is still conducting operations around schools, chapter and verse around how the community and nonprofits have to go in because they take leaders of a household and now they've got children that are running the household that don't even have power of attorney, don't even know how to pay rent, providing grants so they don't lose their homes. I was hearing chapter and verse around the abuse people have received, abuse coming in many different forms. American cities disappearing and then being told they're on their own, their cell phone gone, their ID gone, and they have no recourse, no money to get back from where they have been shipped off. They just have to find their way back home. That's one type of abuse. The other kind of abuse, coming back with bruises, with no recourse, no capacity for justice. The abuse that is the trauma that a young kid feels when the gun is put to their head. You saw that example up in LA. Again, it was one of the first examples about a year ago. Disabled kid waiting for his sister to come across the street from school, and they put a gun to the head of a disabled boy. The trauma that is permanent, that is being perpetuated by the lawlessness of this administration. It's still happening all across this country, including here in California. It never disappeared. If you think I'm overstating it, 1,500% increase in the number of arrests. Cal Matters just came out with this new report versus the year prior. All happening, but without the fanfare of what you're seeing in your living room and on your screen happening in places like Minneapolis. So forgive me, but you can't spend time with real people and not feel their pain and not feel that trauma. Donald Trump doesn't understand that. He's never done that. He's never sat down with these folks. The recklessness, the impact across the spectrum, people that are scared. We talked to a community leader who literally sits on a board. Thank God a member of the board is a doctor, because they couldn't convince a young woman here legally to go to the doctor. She had a medical condition. She was so scared of being racially profiled on her way to the doctor. She refused to go to the doctor. And they were giving me an example, telling me that story. I can give you story after story, and this was only an hour-and-a-half meeting. Dozens and dozens of examples. That's just here in your backyard in Chula Vista. Imagine what's going on across the rest of the United States. So this has just got to end.